Hey guys, welcome to my channel Tekco. My name is Salman Francis, and today we are going to solve question number 11 of our Red Hat Certified Engineering track, version 9. So let's take a look what we have today. So basically today we are going to create users in our nodes with the help of our Ansible file or Ansible playbook. So let's take a look at question number 11. Create a playbook setup users.yaml in home-techo Ansible. So basically it's in our home directory or working directory, and it should run on dev and prod nodes or groups. Please note a file userdata.yaml is already provided at example.com. So in the exam, you will be given this file and you might need to download it with wget. But in our case, I have already created this file. So the conditions or the requirements are create users whose UID starts with 2 on dev group. From this file, of course, user.data, we will take a look. So the create users whose UID starts with 2 on dev group, password must be used from the vault file you created earlier. So if you remember in question number 9 and 10, we created vault file, and we will need to use that file to create these users. Second is create users whose UID starts with 3 on prod group. So all the users whose UID starts with 3 must be part of prod group. Password must be used from the same vault file. Third is users should be part of additional or supplemental groups called dev and prod. The shell should be set to bin bash, and password should use SHA-512 hash format. First, I would like to take you to our vault file. If you remember, we created earlier, and it's called tekco-vault.yaml, and we can see it's encrypted. Let's view the content of this file with Ansible -vault view Tekco, and the vault password file is secrets.yaml, and we can see we have user underscore pass and dev pass. So we will be using these two passwords for our users. And then let me take you to vars directory where we have created this userdata.yml. So these are the users, a file userdata.yaml which you might need to download in the exam. So but I have created it myself here, and the users are, so this is the variable users, and the username is Aragon. It has a list. UID is 2000. Title is developer. So Aragon is a developer and his UID is 2000. Again, next username is Dragon. UID is 2001. Title is developer. He's also developer. Then we have username T-Rex. UID is 3001, and he's the has a title of prod manager. Then Raptor user, UID is 3002, and title is prod manager. So these UIDs and the titles or the jobs might be differ in your exam, but this is just an example how it might show up. Okay, so we already have this file. Now what we need to do is we need to go into our playbook or in our home directory and set up users.yml. We will create our new playbook, and before I run this playbook or create this playbook, let me show you my inventory. And we can see that we have a group called dev, and node 1 is member of this group, and we have another group called prod, and node 2 is the member of this prod group. All right, so set up users.yml, and now we will start our playbook. We will write name, setting up users with vault file, hosts, dev and prod, become is true, true. And then we are going to use vars underscore files files. And two files which we will be using are in vars, and it's called user data.yml. And one file, it's in our current directory, so we don't need to mention the absolute path. It's Tekco-vault.yml. So we are going to use these two variable files or the data within this file. Okay, next we will use the tasks. So we are going to create the tasks, and our first task is ensure the group developers or dev, whatever we want to create, exists. So first we need to make sure that this group exists, and for this we are going to use group module, and we need to make sure that name, let's create a dev group, and the state should be present. So this will make sure that the group dev exists. Now we need to create users for this group. So another task would be creating users for dev group. And for this, we are going to use users module. It's user, not users. So user module. And what we are going to use is we will be using a loop in this. So item, because there are more than one user, so we will use item in a username. And what we want to do with item.username, and what we need to do with them is, and another thing is UID, by the way. So since we are going to iterate on usernames and UID, so it will be item.uid. So we have two items, by the way, username and UID. And what we need to do, we also need to make sure that groups, a supplemental group exist. That's dev, because when the user are created, they are created within their group. For example, Raptor will be created in Raptor group. It will be member of Raptor group, but we need to make sure that they have a supplemental group, dev as well, and the prod as well. So we have to use the module called groups for the supplemental group. Then we need to make sure the state is present, and shell is bin bash. So we are just fulfilling the requirements, and the password is going to be, if you remember, we have the dev password in our Ansible vault. So it was dev_pass. Let me show you. I need to just quit and show you then. So let me write this and I'll show you. So dev_pass, and we need to convert this password to a password hash of SHA 256, and we need to close this. I think there are two brackets. So dev_pass converted to password hash of this, and yep. So these are two enclosed brackets. Okay. So password is done, and then when we are going to use this is when the item dot title equals to developers, and item.uid. And item.uid is, first we need to convert it to string because we are going to compare it with the digit. So in Ansible, whenever you are comparing or selecting a first um, digit or first item, we need to, even if it's an integer, we need to convert it to string first. So we are going to use uh, item.uid, convert it to string, and we need to compare the first character or first digit, and it should be 2. Because in the question you can see that it says that create a user whose UID starts with. So that is the reason we are going to use this. All right, and then we need to loop it, and the loop will be on the variable users. So if you remember, it was users variable. So this is done. Okay, one change mention. It should be here. Now our next task is creating users for prod group, and we will just repeat. So user, it's going to be item dot username, UID, item your UID, UID. And groups for this, the supplemental group is prod, state is present, shell is bin bash, and password, again we are going to use, this time it's I think under user underscore pass, user underscore pass, and convert this password to a hash of SHA-256, close it, close the curly braces, and when the condition is when item.title, title, it should not be tile, it should be title, title, item.title equals to prod manager, and item.uid convert it to string, then use the filter of first equals to 3, and we will use the loop, and it's going to be against the users as well. All right, so this is done. So let me check. Yeah, it's prod manager. So this is correct. And the vault file we checked earlier, let us check that vault file as well. So it was cat Tekco Yeah, so it's dev underscore pass and user underscore pass. Okay, so this is done. So let's run our playbook. Clear the screen. Ansible dash playbook, my inventory, setup user.yaml. Let's use the dry run. And first we will get the error. I'll show you why. Because we need to mention our vault file here. Because if you remember, the passwords are encrypted. Now it will run. So far, so good. Okay, so we have encountered an error, and maybe there is something wrong with item.title. Yes, it's titile. So let me fix that. Use setup. So it's item.title. This is fine. This is wrong. Titili. So it's title. Let's run it again. So it's not, so it's iteme.title again, the spelling mistakes. Oh, boy. Item, this is fine. Item is fine. Item.title, iteme. It's item. Item. Item.username. Again. Wow. So many mistakes. Item.uid. Iteme again. Iteme. Item.title. Item.uid. I hope there are no more items in my playbook. Again, some error, and this time it's related to SHA-256. Of course, there are some brackets. So it's password and it's dev underscore pass is fine. Password hash SHA-256 and I think it should be password underscore hash. Yes, it's password underscore hash. So guys, I just don't want to remove these errors I'm encountering during my playbook so you can understand how these are fixed. Okay, good enough. Now I hope it's working fine right now, but I doubt it since it has not created user, like where is our UID2? It has skipped those. Let's check what's the reason. So user data is fine Ensure group developers exist. Group is dev. State is present, creating users for dev group. Item.username, and it's item.uid dev present bin bash dev underscore pass, and the password underscore hash is SHA-256, and this is done. And then item.title is, I think there are no developers. Let's check in our user data. So it's developer. That's the reason. So setup. So instead of developers, it is developer. So let's change it to developer. And that was the reason, guys, it was not creating UID2. Now, hopefully it will work in the way we want it to work. Yes, now this time you can see it has changed something on node 1 and node 2 with the UID of 2000, like anything starting with 2. All right, so now let's run our playbook without dry run. But first, let me show you node 1. You can see we don't have any group or username with Aragon here. And on node 2, yep, we don't have any user or T-Rex. So let's run and check without the dry run. All right, so what is the error this time? Fail node 1 item username T-Rex UID 3000 changed. Group prod does not exist. Of course it does not exist. So let's check. Groups prod should be present. Oh, I have not created this another task. So first we need to create this. Wow, so many mistakes today, guys. Sorry about that. But since we are in the learning process, so this was expected. Ensuring the group prod exists. Congratulations, guys. We have successfully completed our task with lots of bumps today. But let's see. All right, perfect. We have Raptor, T-Rex, Dragon, and Aragon. All the users and their UIDs 2000, 2001, 3000. And you can see that if we take a look at ID of Aragon, he is into dev group and he's into prod group And you can see that his group starts with the UID is 3002 and this group has 2000. So we have successfully completed our task today with lots of errors, but it's always good when you know your mistakes so you can learn from them. So I hope it has been informative. Thank you for viewing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel Tekco77 and do visit our website. It's https www.tekco.net. Do like our videos, visit our Facebook page. I'll see you next time with some more fun stuff. Till then, goodbye.